for this meditation with John Kabat-Zinn. Just take a moment to arrive, let our bodies settle, let the breath soften. Just kind of notice that we're here and we're here together. If you're new to this kind of a call with us, please feel free to say hello and introduce yourself in the chat. There's no right or wrong way for you to be arriving here. Whether you've been meditating for 50 years or you're brand new, it's all welcome. There's nothing that you need to do perfectly or even right, except for just be present with us. So thank you. Given the size of the gathering, most of us will be muted for this call. You are definitely encouraged to have video on if you're open to that, so we can sort of feel the community aspect of our all being together. And if you're a little find the looking at the camera distracting, you might want to practice in profile, so you can leave your camera on but not look at the screen. That might be helpful to you as we're meditating. You might consider that there are 3 good reasons for our gathering in this way. The first is simply to just take a pause, to practice a moment of peace together. The second is to build consistency into our meditation practice and maybe have the motivation to take it into the rest of our week. And the third is to be in community, to be together, feeling supported and strengthened in our practice, because that helps us stay consistent and have the sense of accountability to one another. Just to remind you, these 20-minute Wednesday morning meditations are free and open to everyone, which is made possible by Lions Roar's members and donors. So please invite your friends and please keep coming back. And if you find these teachings support you, do consider becoming a Lions Roar member. It means that you always have a place to return to for guided meditations, for live teachings, and practical wisdom that you can put to use in your daily life. It's not about doing more, it's about being supported as you practice. We've got lots of support for your practice. We'll include a link to membership info in the chat, or you can just visit lionsroar.com. And now it is with great delight that I introduce Lions Roar's February teacher in residence, John Kabat-Zinn. He is the founder of Mindfulness-Based Stress Reduction, also known as MBSR, and professor emeritus at the University of Massachusetts Medical School. John is the trailblazer behind the American mindfulness movement. He's the author of several books you've heard of: Full Catastrophe Living, Wherever You Go, There You Are, Coming to Our Senses, and Mindfulness for Pain Relief, as well as others. He has 6 decades of experience practicing and teaching mindfulness, which he characterizes as an intrinsically liberative practice that can free us from the prisons of our own mental creations. In addition to these weekly midday meditations, John will offer a talk and a Q&A for the Lions Roar community about how meditation and wisdom can help us address the quote-unquote full catastrophe of what is unfolding in the world, both individually and collectively. That's on Thursday, February the 12th. So that's the introduction. John, thank you so much for being with us. I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you, Rod. It's absolute, and thank you, Lily, for hosting this whole thing. It's my absolute pleasure for being here. And given that we only have basically 20 minutes or so, I just want to dive right in. And on Thursday evening, we'll have the conversation whenever it's scheduled for about sort of the theme for this time, which is embodied wakefulness for these times. So we'll be focusing during the meditations on the embodied wakefulness part. So welcome, and let's drop right into the present moment. Sometimes I ring bells to sort of signal the beginning of meditation practice, and sometimes ring bells to signal the end of the meditation practice. But today I won't ring any bells, because in a very real sense, there's no beginning and there's no end to the meditation practice. Though I'm sure most of you realize, because you've been practicing forever, that the real meditation practice is life itself. And there's no moment except this moment. And this moment is available to us in virtually any moment. We don't have to talk about deep sleep and lucid dreaming, but every other moment is an invitation for us to actually be fully in the present moment with the multidimensional array of our own ways of being and knowing not only who we are, but how to be in wise relationship with the experience. So let's drop underneath my guidance, okay? The invitation is to drop underneath my words. They're kind of like signposts pointing out particular kinds of things. So a little bit like a tour guide or a kind of reminder that you already know, so don't really need. But since over 1,000 people have shown up in, real time, maybe we do need this in a certain way. We need the Sangha element of it. We need to continually be reminded, because remembering is one of the deep root meanings of the word sati or mindfulness. So taking a moment, eyes open is fine, eyes closed is fine, but just seeing if you can establish yourself in a posture that embodies wakefulness and dignity. Whatever that is, it could be lying down, it could be standing on your head, it can be sitting, but for you in this moment embodies wakefulness and dignity. And I would like to invite you to think of taking your seat in this way, both literally and metaphorically, as a radical act. This is not just one more thing you have to squeeze into your day to be a good person or a good meditator or a good Buddhist. But it's a radical act of sanity to stop all the flow of the doing and drop into being for a moment, as in human being. And by dropping into the present moment, of course, we step out of time into this timeless moment we call now. And we can befriend whatever is most salient in this timeless moment. And I'm inviting you to let that be a sense of, right now, a sense of the body as a whole, in its entirety, as it is, no matter how old or young you are, no matter what you've been going through with your body, your health, and your life, but to drop into the full dimensionality of your body sitting here breathing, and the miracle of it in this timeless only moment. And by dropping in, I mean taking up residency in awareness, which in my vocabulary is absolutely synonymous with mindfulness and heartfulness. So there's no separation between compassion and mindfulness. Two wings, one bird, but it's one bird and one moment. And awakening is non-dual in any moment and in every moment. So can we simply take up residency in this moment with the body sitting here breathing as a radical act or a radical gesture of belonging, of validity, intrinsic beauty, your truest, deepest nature, just invited to be, with no agenda other than to fall awake to whatever degree that's possible and live inside this timeless moment in awareness. And then silence and awareness become synonymous. So even though I've invited you to drop underneath my words so that you only take what you want of them and the rest can just be like, sort of background sound. But actually see if you can settle into a silence and a stillness that's underneath the kind of waving surface of the mind in the form of thoughts and emotions, which inevitably are going to intrude in one way or another and make their presence known. But their presence doesn't have to be any sort of disturbance. They're just sort of part of the landscape of being human. But awareness can hold it all. Awareness of thinking, feelings, sensations, and we're shifting what the neuroscientists might call the default mode network. We're shifting it from constantly thinking and mostly about our favorite subject, me, and the future and the past, and let the stream of thought just do what it is. But the awareness has no problem with that because it's a kind of a different dimension of experience that is fully inhabitable and that we're born with, so we don't have to acquire it. All we need to do is learn, play with possibilities of accessing it when we need it, which is usually only and always now. So can we basically take up residency in this timeless moment we call now? Of course, if you're brand new to the meditation practice and you find yourself just caught up in an endless stream of thinking, that's all right, because what is the function that knows that you are caught up in an endless stream of thinking? It's not more thinking. It's another, what I have come to term superpower, again, that you're born with, and it's the awareness function or mindfulness. So as soon as you know that you're lost in thought, you're not. That knowing invites you to be that knowing and simply, once again, establish yourself in resting in awareness itself. We're not pursuing any kind of a special state. Whatever arises is insanely special. And awareness, as you already know, but can discover over and over again in new ways. Awareness is capable of holding it all and looking very deeply into it, recognizing its insubstantial nature, and in the moment liberating yourself from even very intensive thought streams or emotional whirlpools or habit patterns that feature usually the story of me and how great it is or how bad it is or how whatever. And for now, we're just letting that all be as it is without taking any of it personally. And just resting here in this timeless moment we call now, in full awareness. Underneath words, underneath thought. Just this moment, just this breath, just this sitting here, just this being human, just whatever arises, being met and known, recognized, liberated in the moment. Just this. Just this. And while nothing is guaranteed, it's very likely that the breath will carry you through the rest of the day and the rest of this week and the rest of this month and the rest of our lives, uncertain as the timing is. But if we take up residency in this moment we call now, then this meditation practice has no beginning and no end, as was said. And so every moment is a perfect moment to actually drop in and recognize and realize that life itself is the curriculum, life itself is the meditation practice. And that every moment is an opportunity to wake up or reawaken, to remember, which is one of the root meanings of the word sati, to remember that this is it. And to not be lost in thought or caught up in turbulent emotions, especially in a time like this where there is so much chaos and destructive energy going on in the world and in this country. And in these times, in this moment, the talk on Thursday will connect with how we bring the practice to deal with the enormity of what's going on in the United States, what's going on with the full catastrophe of humanity on planet Earth and what we're doing to our planet. But for now, let's just stay underneath all the thinking and emoting or concerns or worries, even the horrors of what's going on. The horrors of what's going on. We do what we can, but let's come from a place of deep stillness and well-being and knowing and compassion that requires a certain kind of deep inner fortitude and strength that is not an individual matter, but much more an affirmation of we rather than I, me, and mine. Whether it's my desires, my aspirations, or my concern. We basically are each other's friends and teachers. And we need to let the world and all of us really guide, teach, and inspire each other. So in the remaining moments that we have, and I'm just learning the format myself since this is the first time for me, so I'll stop fairly soon to make sure that Rod and Lily are okay with how it closes out at the top of the hour. In this timeless moment, just remembering that it's always this timeless moment. And everything I've said you can just throw out because it's all in some sense based on words. And just drop into where the words have been attempting to point you. Having said nothing that you don't already know. And I don't mean just in your head, but I mean in your bones, in the pores of your skin, in the years of your practice, if you've been practicing for years or decades. And so everything that we do together is just in some sense a reminder of what we already know. And that's what the practice is. It's like, remember, this is it, this moment. As it says in the Heart Sutra, no place to go. And this is a really hard one for meditators because we always want some special experience and ignore the fact that every single moment is an insanely special experience. No place to go, nothing to do, and no special something to attain, especially a state. You all know this as long-term meditators, but people naively think that there's some special meditative state that once you get into that, then everything will be bliss or wonderful or wise or whatever. And it's like we should throw out the word state from our vocabulary entirely, even the neuroscientists, and replace it with the word condition. And conditions are totally dynamical and they're constantly changing, as are we. We're not the same person who woke up this morning, even now. Constantly changing. So taking a slow, deep breath in and letting it flow out. And let me just say how appreciative and moved I am to be with so many people practicing together. I love it, and I'll look forward to the next 3 sessions that we have. And especially to also the Thursday that we're going to, next week, I think that we're going to get to actually use our verbal and cognitive intelligences as well as all our other multiple intelligences to investigate, what is called for in these really challenging and equally insanely beautiful times. So thank you for the privilege and pleasure of being here with you. And over to you, Lily and Rod.
Thank you, John, for that beautiful meditation. Thanks to each of you for showing up from all over the world and for being part of this community. Even over Zoom, you can feel the power of our practicing together. It really matters. So we hope you'll come back next Wednesday, same time and place, for more meditation. And since you're signed up, we'll send a reminder email at least 1 hour before each session with your access link. There's also an add to calendar link in the reminder emails. When you become a member, you're caring for your own heart and helping share these teachings with a world that truly needs them. Lions Roar membership gives you a steady companionship on the path with live meditations, trusted teachers, and a deep library of teachings that you can come back to anytime. Most of all, whatever good comes from our practice together, we want to dedicate the merits to the benefit of all sentient beings. May all be happy, healthy, and peaceful. May you be happy, healthy, and peaceful. We'll see you next week. And a reminder that talk is on Thursday, February 12th. Thanks to John and thanks to you all.